The overriding goal of our Siyaphumelela bonus grant project is to build a data culture at DUT. And to achieve this, staff must be equipped with the skills to use data meaningfully. We had several types of data training workshops. The majority were in Excel and AutoScholar. We also had a data training workshop that integrated statistics, SPSS, and Excel during our DUT Data Day, and this was run by one of our data Jedis. Then in October this year, we had several Power Heater user training workshops that were run by the vendors IDSC. In total, therefore, we had about 15 data training workshops over the past 2 years. All our data training workshops focused on improving professional practice. In other words, our training aimed to help people do their work more effectively at DUT. For academics, learning how to bulk upload marks in Excel onto ITS is something that would be very useful, especially for lecturers who teach large class sizes. We also involved the newly appointed lecturers who were undergoing induction in our training, so they would be equipped with the skills right at the outset. Then in engineering, DUT worked closely with the AutoScholar developer to develop a facility that was able to track student attainment of exit level outcomes. This is something that the Engineering Council of South Africa wants, and it basically is linked to the accreditation status. So this was a first for South Africa, and we are very proud of this. Having an automated system for tracking exit level outcomes in engineering is very exciting, and we are actually hoping to extend this to tracking the DUT graduate attributes in other programs as well. AutoScholar is used for tracking student progress and identifying at-risk students early on. And we now have lecturers in other faculties having come on board, learning how to use this, and we are training lecturers in that. And then, of course, with most recently, our academic advisors being appointed through the UCDG, this is training that we are actually going to be continuing and developing and using a lot more in future. In terms of improving professional practice, we had several admin and admin support staff attending our training workshops. Now, these staff work mainly with quantitative data in Excel, and they have to do things like exam board reporting, academic quality monitoring. So learning how to use Excel, pivots to do graphs, to summarize data would be a skill that would actually be very, very useful in their everyday jobs. And apart from staff, training staff in data work, we also had one lecturer who piloted the use of AutoScholar with students. And so since we're going to be having academic advisors, and the academic advising project is going to be something that's going to be rolled out more extensively next year, we're going to see a lot more training now of students working with AutoScholar. I also want to mention that prior to running the Excel training workshops, we conducted a skills audit. And based on this, we planned the content of the workshops. So what the skills audit basically showed us that we needed to run very introductory, basic Excel training, and then we scaled it up to intermediate training. And this was something that really worked because we were able to identify the gaps, the skill gaps, and then meet the gaps in terms of our training. Finally, all the Excel training used actual data that was housed on the SharePoint, and this was the management information repository of historical data. But the important thing is that the training used real data. It was real student data. It was relevant data. So, we didn't run training where we used hypothetical data sets. This was data that the academic staff could identify with. It was their students' data. It was their module performance data. And I think this is something that made the training very effective and very relevant as well. In terms then of the way we implemented our data training workshops, the key success factors were, firstly, focusing on improving professional practice. Secondly, conducting a needs analysis to ensure that the training meets the needs of the staff. And thirdly, making the training relevant and interesting to staff by using data that they are familiar with, using their student data.